Good evening. 20 arrests made last night on the city's northeast side following the Puerto Rican festival. All were arraigned in court this morning.
They were taken into custody at street parties taking place all over the area hours after the festival ended. Selena Lewis spoke to the police chief and the mayor today about how they handle this event and their plans going forward.
Despite 20 arrests and more than 200 officers out in protective gear yesterday, the hours following this year's Puerto Rican Fest were actually safer than previous years, according to RPD's chief.
Situation like last night, we look at prior years, what happened, the areas where there are the most problems, and we try to predict where the issues are going to be, but there is some guesswork involved. And every year, for example, there's one area or intersection which the prior year really wasn't a problem. Chief Simonelli says they've had issues in previous years, so they try to get out ahead of it, having officers out and ready long before the problems begin. This year, very glad to be able to report that there were no reports of any civilians injured. There were no reports of any officers injured. Last year, we had a fatality with someone clinging to a car, driving, in an unsafe manner. We've had other issues in prior years. Even if some community members had a distaste for seeing officers in more protective gear than their normal street uniforms, Mayor Warren says officer safety is paramount.
History has shown that sometimes certain things happen, and you don't want an officer getting hit in the head with a rock or a bottle or something like that, so they have to be prepared. This year, that was the case, with both bottles and rocks being hurled at officers. Mayor Warren stressing again, it's not the celebration of heritage, but the activity afterwards that's the issue. We never have a problem with the festival. We never have a problem with the parade. And I don't think that if you were to do something like that, that would stop what happens in the neighborhood afterwards.
Chief Simonelli, anticipating some of the issues they have had with illegal ATVs and motorbikes in years past, actually sent out several warnings in the weeks prior to the parade and festival, alerting residents not to ride them in the city. Maureen?
Selena, thank you. Those 20 arrests varied widely, with some more serious offenses like DWI and others including minor traffic violations and disorderly conduct.